have the courage to come outside of the room, so Jimin took his breakfast to him. He tried to make Taehyung comfortable. When he placed the food in front of him, Taehyung quietly started eating. Look, Taehyung, I do not usually respect guys at all, but you are a different kind of boy. I automatically feel respect for you. You know, if my dad sees this, he will faint. That boy is already sitting there. He is angry, just like a bull outside the house. He is jealous of me. No one ever looked at him the way they looked at me, he said and started laughing. Jimin stood up and turned toward Jungkook. Hey, that tube, the one that he wants in minutes, where is it? He asked while rummaging through Jungkook's bag. Jungkook kicked him hard, annoyed. This is my stuff, not your dad. Ah, he screamed, holding his bag as he fell near the sofa. Taehyung got scared and ran out of the room quickly. Do you have any manners? This is my stuff. Taehyung looked at him fearfully. Go die, Jungkook. Just give me the medicine. Take it and leave me alone. He handed him the medicine. Jimin grabbed the tube, turned around and noticed Taehyung staring at them, scared. Easy now, sweetheart. My bro is crazy. It's a common illness. Nothing serious, he smiled, trying to calm Taehyung. After some time, Jimin came back from outside, carrying random things for Taehyung. No one really knew what he had picked up. Jungkook, who had been quietly watching everything in the house since Sky left, was already fed up with Jimin's silly action. Jimin had placed shopping bag on the couch and was checking things like he was busy with something serious. One night, he asked casually and threw some snakes toward him. The snake landed in Jungkook's lap, but he didn't pick them up. He just kept looking at Jimin with angry eyes. Jimin looked too calm, like nothing could bother him, not even a fly. Then he picked up the bag and walked into the room. Taehyung finally felt a little relaxed. Oh, your face tell me you were missing me, he smiled. Taehyung looked down with a little shyness. He really was missing him. Jimin laughed and gently tapped his hand. From the sofa, Jungkook could see everything happening in the room, and it was only making him more irritated. You are beautiful, complimenting him again. I do not usually treat boys like this, but with you, my heart just gave up. I brought so many things. I'm sure you love snakes. He pulled out lots of snakes from the bag and started placing them on the bed. Taehyung looked at everything with surprise. Could someone really care for him like this? Kai was so rich, but he never gave him money, not even pocket money. He used to wear his clothes. The only thing he ever paid for was his university. Kai was so stingy that it felt like all of New York became poor around him. His eyes filled with tears. Oh, princess, this is all yours. You can eat peacefully, and these all are your dresses. How do they look? He started showing him the clothes. They were miniskirts. Taehyung's face turned red. Jimin laughed freely. Taehyung could not speak, but his face always showed what was in his heart, and Jimin understood every little expression. Jimin left the room with a sigh, and Taehyung he froze in fear. He was already scared of that pet. And could it even be called a pet? It felt more like a creature trained to kill. With a trembling heart, he looked at the snake and cloth Jimin had brought, and suddenly a thought struck him. He had run away to get here. Yes, he had escaped, but the sad truth was he ended up in the hand of a killer. Should he run away from here too? Yes, he should. If he stayed, one day Jungkook would kill him too. Jimin had said it. When Jungkook gets angry at someone, he kills them. Taehyung swallowed hard. He could not even look out the door, but he had to change his clothes, so with tiny, hesitant step, he walked toward the bathroom. As he passed the room, he glanced at both of them. They were sitting at separate laptops, busy with something he did not understand. And that beast of a pet sat quietly at Jungkook's feet. Something in him calmed down a little, and he quickly slipped into the bathroom. He did not know why, but even though he was surrounded by adventurous people, he did not feel the same fear. Not the fear Kai, Lino, and Park used to bring, not the coldness of Amelia. So many thoughts and the mark on his body. They were the reason behind the tears. The water from the shower drenched his body, while the water from his eyes mixed with it, and he kept crying. He had cried for a long time. Living with strangers did not scare him as much as that old house did, but still, he had to run away from here too. He had already pushed his small mind to its limit trying to think of a plan. When he came out, fresh clothes and damp hair gave him a little comfort, but he needed a comb, and he did not find one. He was still sitting on the bed when suddenly tigers entered the room. Taehyung jumped off the bed in panic and crawled backward. His breath got stuck in his throat. He wanted to scream for Jimin, but nothing came out. It was like his voice did not even exist anymore. He had not spoken a word in 10 years, and now he had accepted it. He was really mute. He hit the bed helplessly, then covered both his eyes with his hand and cried badly. He had no idea. Maybe he was going to become a wolf meal, but nothing happened for a while. He opened his eyes, and there he was, standing in front of him. Taehyung looked at him with wide, tear-filled eyes. He does not eat bones. His sarcasm was heavy, almost mocking. Taehyung lowered his hand, embarrassed by the insult. Taehyung pointed to the door for Tiger to leave, then threw the comb toward Taehyung and walked out. Taehyung's head and legs were still shaking. This danger was very bigger than he thought, and now he was sure he had to run away. The whole day passed by with Taehyung eating snakes one after another. Either of them came inside. He spent the entire day sitting by the balcony watching the city, and surprisingly, he liked it, this city. He had only seen it once when he was a child. Back then, only. If someone felt pity for him, they would let him go out for a short walk. But every time he came back, Amelia would beat him so much. Still, he always managed to sneak out whenever he could. And now, 10th year had passed. He had no idea how beautiful New York had become. "Hey, sweetheart, where are you?" His voice came from behind. Taehyung turned around to look. "Oh my God, you ate all the snakes?" He pointed his eye at him. Taehyung looked down, embarrassed. He really had eaten all of them. He lifted his hand slowly and showed the empty wrapper. "This is empty." He glared at him. Taehyung blinked fast, trying to say sorry with his eyes. He felt guilty. "Oh, okay. I gave the snakes to Jungkook this morning, but that man does not eat anything. Look like he didn't touch them. So now you go and bring them back." Jimin sat down casually while Taehyung quickly shook his head in refusal. "Yes, you will go," he said more firmly. "Go and bring them." Taehyung pouted and again shook his head. "Fine, then do not talk to me anymore. From now on, only Jungkook will talk to you." He got up and started to walk away. Taehyung quickly shook his head again and stood up. Jimin watched him with amazing face. Go, good job. Bring them now." Taehyung started walking, dragging his feet slowly. At least that's what it looked like, because in reality, he was not even moving properly. "Sweetheart, if you want to go forward, you have to move," he called out. "We have to step out today, sweetheart. Why are you so slow?" he said in frustration. Taehyung looked at him with wet eyelashes and finally reached the door. He peeked outside. Maybe he was resting. Jungkook was wearing a black shirt and black pant, and even in all that darkness, his presence seemed to shine like light. Tiger was sitting right beside him, calm. Jungkook was lying back on the couch, eyes closed, lost in some thoughts. Taehyung had the perfect chance. He would have quickly grabbed the snake and run back inside. But would that be stealing? Should he ask Jungkook instead? He pouted and nervously started walking toward him. As soon as he reached and stood near, Jungkook turned his head slightly and looked at him with calm eyes. Taehyung stood there with his head lowered while twisted his finger. "What?" he asked in a cold tone. Taehyung raised his finger and pointed toward the snakes. Jungkook glanced down. His snakes were still laying on his laptop. Jimin had given them in the morning, but after seeing Kai and Linwo's endless energy, he felt so annoyed he completely lost his appetite. "You want those?" he asked with a straight face. Taehyung quickly shook his head. He was scared, but Jungkook misunderstood it. "Are you hungry?" he asked in a tight, uninterested voice. Taehyung was about to shake his head again, but Jimin suddenly grabbed his head and made it nod, as if saying yes. "Yes, both of us are hungry, me and sweetheart. His name is Taehyung," he snapped, sounding irritated. "Oh, your name is Taehyung?" He smiled wide. He stretched out his hand toward Taehyung and held his hand warmly. "My name is Jimin. Jimin Jack," he said cheerfully. Jungkook lit his jaw and stared at him. "Me and Taehyung are hungry. You can eat rocks if you want, but we are human. We need food. Say it, come on, say yes. You want food, and we want to go outside and eat." He turned to Taehyung and made him nod by force again. "Then why are you standing in front of me? Get lost." Jimin jumped with joy, and even Taehyung's face lit up. Maybe just the thought of going outside made him feel happy, but Jungkook's necks were crushed that hope in seconds. "All you will go, he's not going anywhere." And just like that, in one moment, he poured cold water over Taehyung's joy. "Wow, I have officially become your servant now. Like I am the one going out to get food for king and queen over here. What the hell, I'm not your butler. You hear me? I'm going. And do not wait for me tonight. I do not plan on coming back." Jimin walked out of the house angrily and shut the door hard. Jungkook was very angry now. He could not handle Jimin anymore. He picked up his phone and called Jake. "If one grandson dies, will it matter to you?" he shouted with anger. Taehyung got scared and stepped back. "Jungkook," he said in a serious voice. "He is making me angry. I have to focus on my work, but he keeps doing silly things." He shouted more. "Don't worry, I will talk to him," he said and ended the call. Jungkook looked at Taehyung now. Taehyung felt scared. He turned around and ran into the room. Jungkook stood up. He wore his black hoodie and took a mask. He did not like the boy. He just needed one paper signed by him. That's why he was keeping him alive. His grandfather gave his order, so he had to follow it. He went into the room. Taehyung was not there. Jungkook opened the cupboard. Taehyung was sitting inside hiding. Jungkook threw the hoodie at his face and then gave him the mask too. "Wear both things and come out," he said in a hard voice. "Do not make me come again, or I will throw you down from the balcony," he warned and walked away. Taehyung started crying slowly, but still he wore the hoodie and the mask. He came out of the room. His golden hair was outside the hoodie. The mask was on his face. Now he looked quiet and a little beautiful. Jungkook did not look at him for a long. He spoke again. "Put the hoodie on your head." Taehyung covered his head. Now his face was hard to see. "Put your hands in your pockets," he told him from far. Taehyung did it. "Do not take them out." Then Jungkook opened the door. Taehyung felt happy, not because of Jungkook, but because he was finally going outside. It was a beautiful night in New York, and just like a bird feels when it's free from the first time, it wants to open all its wings and fly, even if a hawk comes and eats in the next moment. Still, for that one moment, it was free. That's how Taehyung felt tonight. He was walking behind Jungkook. The street was very quiet. Jungkook was walking calmly. Taehyung kept looking around, sometimes here, sometimes there. He was walking right behind him. Sometimes he stopped to look at something. With every step, he was getting more excited, but Jungkook didn't stop. After walking a little long, he stopped outside a small restaurant. It was a small, simple place. He pulled out a chair and sat outside. Taehyung sat on the chair after him. He smiled and looked around like everything was new. Jungkook, even though he didn't mean to, he kept looking at him. Why was he so happy? Just because he came outside? Because he lived locked up in his house? The waiter came. Jungkook quickly looked away. He ordered a mug of coffee and gave the menu to Taehyung. He didn't feel like eating anything, but Taehyung's fingers was moving over every food item on the menu like he wanted to try all of them. Jungkook was watching him surprised. He usually never gets surprised, but today he was. He looked away and started using his phone. His coffee came fast. A little while later, the table was full of food. Taehyung kept eating peacefully and happily. Jungkook took a long breath, and suddenly he saw someone standing behind Taehyung. His eyes became sharp. That man was staring at Taehyung. "Get up." His voice was serious. Taehyung looked at him. "I said get up." He spoke loudly, almost scolding. He stood up and held Taehyung's head himself, then pulled him away from the table. Taehyung ran with him while Jungkook walked fast. He took him behind the restaurant where it was almost dark. Whoever that man was, he would definitely come there. And he did. Taehyung stood in the darkness. Jungkook left his hand. He pulled out a sharp knife from his boot. There was a shine in his eye. Taehyung felt like his soul was about to leave his body. There was a strange shine in Jungkook's eyes. Taehyung's soul felt like it was ready to leave his body. At the moment that man came close to Taehyung, Jungkook jumped at him and stabbed the knife right in the middle of his neck. His sharp-edged knife had proudly shown its power, slicing straight through the man's neck like it was proving something. And Jungkook, he exhaled calmly. He felt the splashes of blood on his hand and smiled just a little. Then suddenly, the sound of someone collapsing behind them. He turned around annoyed. Jungkook leaned down and whispered into the man's ear, "Jeon Jungkook." He stood up again, looked around the darkness. Even if someone was there, he didn't care. What really bothered him was the boy laying on the floor. With no other choice, he bent down and lifted Taehyung into his arms. And without another word, he started walking toward his hideout. Linwo's nights had turned into nightmares. It had been one whole day, and he still couldn't find Taehyung, not even in his own city. He sat in his office, rocking in his chair, spinning a paperweight nervously in his hand. Then suddenly, his secretary calls came. "Sir, someone wants to meet you." Lino was about to refuse, annoyed, but then he remembered he had already sent people to look for Taehyung, so he allowed it. Seconds later, the door opened. A normal-looking man walked in. "Good morning, sir." Lino didn't answer. "What do you want?" "The man you sent was killed by Jeon Jungkook." Lino froze. His hand stopped at mid-air. He stared at the man, shocked. "Yes, sir. Jeon Jungkook, from Jake family. Jake's king. The one who came to steal New York from you." Lino stood up suddenly and walked toward him. "Who are you?" The man gave a bitter smile. "Just a scar left by his security." Lino narrowed his eyes. "What are you trying to say?" "Nothing. I just want to destroy Jeon Jungkook. I want him to die with the same pain he gives to others." Then he said it clearly, like a bullet to Lino's chest. "Taehyung is with him, and yes, it was Jeon Jungkook who killed your man." He turned around and walked out. Lino should have caught him. Someone just dropped a bomb on his head, and he let that person walk away. Maybe Jake family had that kind of power. For a few seconds, Lino was frozen. When he came back into his senses, he looked around, ran to the window. The man was gone. He rushed to the guard. "Stop everyone leaving the building." Then ran downstairs himself. But in the crowd outside, the man was not there. "Shit!" He slammed his fist into his palm. His heart had already been restless before, but now it felt like destruction was standing right behind him. Jeon Jungkook. Who was he? Why did not Linwo know him? What did he look like? Where did he come out from? Linwo snapped. He slammed his fist on the glass table. His hand was bleeding, but he didn't care. The word from the man kept burning in his mind. He rushed upstairs and called his father. The Jake family had entered their city and Kai didn't even know. Our words didn't care. But Kai didn't pick up the call. Linwo could not sit still anymore. He rushed out of the office straight toward the place, the one that no longer felt like theirs. He reached there in 15 minutes, what should have taken 30. Kai and Amelia were in their room. The door was locked. Linwo kicked it over and over. 5 minutes later, Kai finally opened it. Linwo stared at his father with eyes full of fire. Jungkook is in New York now, and Taehyung is with him. But you are just enjoying life here? Like this is your last chance to enjoy. He shouted so loud his voice echoed in the room. He looked like a crazy man picking things up and throwing them all around. Kai was so scared, like his life was about to end, but still, nothing was broken yet. They had to control the situation. Kai held his son tightly. Linwo, relax. Don't worry, the game is still in our hands. Just find Taehyung. But do it quietly. He is in the same city. That means he is still in your control. You are the king of this city, my son. Don't panic. I will kill Taehyung. He spoke with fire in his eyes. Kai smiled slowly. He is your son. You bought him. Don't forget that. And once something is bought, no one else can take it. Kill him if you want. Cut him into pieces. We just need one thumb from him. The rest of his body is useless for us. No, Dad, never. Taehyung will be my queen. He will always stay in my hand. This is not just about New York anymore. How dare he run away from here and go to that Jake family? Was he already close to them before? He looked like quite dumb boy, but he turned out to be something else. I will not forgive him, not at all. Once I catch him, he stormed out in anger. Linwo, you are too angry. Kai shouted after him. His face was full of worry. Sweet drops were shining on his forehead. Amelia came out and looked at him. Honey, what are you doing? Shut up! He shouted and pushed her aside, going straight into the washroom. Amelia quietly dropped her shoulder and went back to lie on the bed. Did you kill him? He asked while glaring at her. I do not kill people I am not interested in. Just wake him up, he spoke coldly. Then I will wake him up in my way. Do anything, just wake him up. We have to leave tonight. Jimin looked shocked. Granddad gave orders and I think I already knows. Jungkook smirked. It was not the right time to attack. Hurting slowly and painfully was more fun. Jimin always feared Jungkook's habits. Jungkook moved his neck confidently and picked up his tiger, playing with it calmly. If he does not wake up, then throw him on the floor. Granddad is sending the jet. If he gets here, he will text us. I always get shocked by you. No need to think too much. He picked up his phone while the tiger played between his legs. He leaned back and spoke peacefully. They were on a private jet at that time and it would take them around an hour and a half to reach Las Vegas. Jimin stretched out on the seat and soon fell asleep, while Jungkook was watching the chores that had happened at Kai's house on his laptop. How Linwo had entered and started shouting. His style was sharp and Jungkook had excited from exactly that point. A slight smile appeared on his lips. Now Kai would search for him like a dog in a place where he would not be found. Jungkook calmly started typing an email. Seeing fear in Kai's eyes had made him want to fuel that fear even more. So he typed an email addressed to Jack, saying that he wanted to join the Mafia. He knew this message would be like a celebration for some, but for some people it might be bad news. But he didn't care. Since childhood, he had been taught one thing: never ask, just take what you want. And that's what he always did, in his own way. After typing the email peacefully, he shut the laptop and also turned off the small, soft light above his seat. He was calmly looking out the window, watching the tiny glowing lights of New York City, when suddenly he felt someone's presence near him. He pulled out a knife from his boot and was just about to stab the knife into the person's eye when he smelled a soft, sweet scent like a perfume a boy might use. And something about it made him feel it was Taehyung. But what was Taehyung doing here? He turned on the light and there he saw, looking at Jungkook with red, tired eyes. Lines appeared on Jungkook's forehead as he frowned. He was still holding the knife, but Taehyung seemed unaware, like he was not fully in his senses. And slowly Jungkook realized something. Taehyung was completely defective. He could not speak, and he had sleepwalking disorder. Even when Jungkook waved the knife in front of his eyes, Taehyung did not react. Why was he standing there like a ghost above him? Before Jungkook could do anything more, Taehyung healed his shoulder, and then, as Jungkook was half laying on the seat, Taehyung climbed onto him, curled him, and rested his face in the cup of Jungkook's neck, closing his eyes peacefully. Jungkook just sat there, totally shocked, frozen. Ever since he had met that boy, things had only gone downhill for him. Now he tried calling out to Jimin, but even after shouting, that stubborn guy didn't move an inch from his seat. Meanwhile, Taehyung's soft face was pressed against his neck, like he was hiding there. Both of his arms were around Jungkook's neck, and he had completely laid down on Jungkook's leg, breathing softly. Taehyung had already fallen asleep. Jungkook clenched his teeth in frustration. A part of him just wanted to pick him up and throw him out of the private jet. How could this boy not even know that he walked around in his sleep, and also did not even talk at all? If Jungkook wanted, he would have done exactly that. But something stopped him. He wanted to see Taehyung's reaction in the morning, when he would wake up and find out he was sleeping on top of Jungkook. So he let him stay there, laying just like that, and looked out the window. He did not know why, but he could suddenly hear the sound of his own heartbeat. Then suddenly, something made him turn back toward Taehyung. Taehyung's fingers were slowly running along Jungkook's neck. What was this? What was he doing? Jungkook tightly grabbed his hand and pushed it away. This boy was increasing his heartbeat for no reason. Then Taehyung snuggled his face even deeper into Jungkook's neck. Jungkook just sat there, holding himself back. He was feeling things he had never felt before in his life. He clenched his teeth harder and closed his eyes for a while, plugging in his earphones to distract himself, trying to calm his thoughts. But just then Taehyung picked up Jungkook's hands and wrapped it around himself. Jungkook instantly snapped out of it. He grabbed Taehyung's wrist with such a strong grip that it felt like his ribs might break. And that was the second shock Jungkook got. Taehyung let out a soft cry. Taehyung cried out because Jungkook was holding him too tightly. That's when Jungkook realized Taehyung was not mute. He stared at him with wide eyes. Was this the first time Taehyung had ever slept deeply? Maybe that's why he didn't know what he was doing. And the truth was, this really was the first time he slept peacefully. To Jungkook, Taehyung felt like a mystery. And when Taehyung made that soft sound for the first time, Jungkook looked at him with interest.